This is one of the wildest corners of Europe. And the vital breeding grounds for many of the species that live in its greatest river, the Danube. But during the decades of Romanian communist rule, these wetlands came perilously close to destruction. All transport through the delta is by boat. There are no roads here, only a network of canals and estuaries that connect the wetlands and hundreds of lakes and eventually flow out into the Black Sea. Nicolae Ceausescu, a scientist with the Delta Institute, volunteered to be our guide.
As you see, the Danube spreads out into this area like the fingers of my hand and forms islands and lakes, and this is the delta.
For centuries, the lives of the Delta people revolved around fishing. But the old communist dictator Nicolae Ceausescu nearly put an end to all that. He had big plans to drain huge areas of the Delta and make it the breadbasket of Romania, to turn fishermen into farmers. Nicolae Ceausescu took us to see what became of Ceausescu's dreams. So what is this building?
So, you know, Tony, this is an abandoned fish collecting point. It was used by fishermen to deliver the fish they caught in this 200 lakes which were all around. And no, it is abandoned and completely wrecked, you see.
This is before Ceausescu decided to change this whole area.
Of course, it was supposed that fishermen turn into land workers, which is an absurd thing. Almost none accepted this. And all their traditional buildings and all their traditional way of life is lost, disappear. It's a tragedy. It's really a tragedy. So it's a way of how the state should never behave with the people, with the citizens.
So Radu, what is this?
This is the pumping station, the very thing they use to destroy the lakes, because 200 lakes is not so easy to dry out. So they built all along the dike pumping stations. This destroyed the lakes, that the fisherman has no place to fish. I can show you through the binoculars what they did. Look.
Ceausescu's engineers built vast dikes around a chain of lakes and erected a grid of giant pumping stations to drain them out. So this is where the lake used to be?
Yes, and where crops are supposed to be grown.
It's a huge area they've drained, though. How big is this area?
It's about 30,000 hectares. 30,000 hectares. 200 lakes gone.
The further we went downriver, the more perverse were the projects designed to wring economic benefit out of the delta. This great sand mine lies abandoned at the end of one artery. What was the scale of this whole factory?
You can see it was meant to be really huge. This sort of cranes they brought in, and very large barges were meant to be loaded there. In fact, they wanted to build a huge canal to transport with barges all the sand. But they dredged it 3 times, but never it was deep enough to permit for these barges to transport it.
Instead, half the nearby village was flooded, and salt leached through the soil of its pastures, destroying them.
Again, sort of madness of the central planning. Very, very well expressed in this whole thing. Look, it's the sand coming and swallowing up all this machinery. It's in fact swallowing the madness of Ceausescu. We just keep it to show the people that something like this will never happen in our reserve. And for sure, it's a good example, a sort of exhibition.
To get a more complete picture of the madness in the delta, Radu took us to the river town of Periprava.
It's awful? Awful, awful, awful. And starting from this point.
On its outskirts, there'd been one of Romania's worst gulags, known far and wide as the Red House.
Shall we? This used to be the cultural center of the town at that time. And look, this is the place where they used to show movies. A library was there. And look, it's full of cows.
With the demise of Ceausescu, the local communist institutions had reverted to the barnyard. The people here are Lipovenes, descendants of Ukrainian fishermen who came here in the 18th century to escape persecution in Tsarist Russia. In the delta, they were left in peace to follow traditions that have barely changed in 300 years. And despite the long communist interlude, Periprava itself seemed to be frozen in time, as if those past 50 years had made little impact. But that was a false perception, as we found when we started to ask questions about the Red House. These people told us that dead prisoners from the Gulag were secretly buried at night.
Yes, that's true.
While we were talking, a curious neighbour called us to come over. We understand that he may have worked at the Red House.
Am înțeles că ați lucrat acolo la Casa Roșie?
Da.
Yes.
17 ani.
17 years.
17 years working there.
Yeah.
His name was Artyom Suhov, and he told us he ran a shop for the camp guards at the Gulag.
Multe treburi de acolo știu, pentru că
He knows a lot of what happened there. He was, outsider, but saw everything.
Mr. Suhov agreed to take us to the Red House. He even organised for a friend to drive us there in his old Russian tractor. Was this road built by the prisoners?
Yeah, it was built by the prisoners, by thousands of prisoners. It was labor like slavery. Probably many of them died also because of the hard work they were forced to do.
So here, slave labour was used to build the dykes in order to pump out the lakes. In an Orwellian solution, enemies of the state were used to build projects that destroyed the environment. here in what was once the officers' club in the Gulag. Wild horses had taken over.
This was at the beginning, at the political part of the prison, when they,
până la 7.000 de oameni.
till probably 7,000 prisoners, political prisoners.
Aici unde vedeți în partea asta lantă.
So it was the Securitate special troops who guarded all these political prisoners.
A fost floarea țării. A fost și preoți, și profesori, și doctori, ce vreți. Dacă pe mine, ăla care îl vedeți, a schimbat măsele aici, a fost aici, a avut aparatul Röntgen, era și, cum îi spune doctorilor acestor, cu plămâni și cu nu știu ce, fel de fel specialiști a fost aici.
Închiși.
Da.
Every Friday night, the camp officers gathered to be entertained by the more talented of the inmates on this special stage.
Probably the officers ordered this, and some of the prisoners were forced to paint it. It's a flock of sheep. There are swans in front and water lilies. Behind is a forest with migratory birds on the sky, and of course it's a tractor and a combine harvester.
The people of Periprava, in their isolation, seem to have understood little of the great political movements that brought the Red House here. They watched propaganda films in the cultural centre, worked as guards in the Gulag, ran its shops, averted their eyes. In return, they were able to maintain the religious traditions their ancestors brought from the Ukraine, escaping a much older repression. But as they prayed for a better life in the next world, the regime was busy planning its great changes to the one they live in.
The fishermen are here. Yeah. We can speak to them, so we can find.
And now scientists like Nicolae Ceausescu, himself the son of a blacklisted class enemy, are trying to change things back again, to restore the world so damaged by the regime.
They just brought the fish. This is a research normally which we do in this area, and these are the fishes which re-entered the area. You see, look, so what beautiful pikes. This is a capital one, and also there is a catfish, European catfish, young one, and we have also, let's see, perch.
Radu's colleagues from the Delta Institute are reflooding the wetlands drained by Ceausescu's engineers.
So all these species entered now again this island, and they reproduce, they feed, they use the area as a feeding area, and of course fishermen are very happy because it's a new fishing ground for them.
These are the fish that are coming back?
Yeah, they are coming back. Beautiful pikes. Real. I like this.
Radu took us into the re-flooded wetland. This had been levelled farmland. The reeds returned first, with a phenomenal growth rate as nature reclaimed the area. Then the weed came back, and acting like the kidneys of a human body, purified the water. That, in turn, allowed the fish to breed again.
Hello, Mircea. How is it going?
Using a jolt of electricity, the scientists stun baby fish and net them to gauge what fish are breeding in the area.
The local people use fish for their living. And
Mitya Starash is the director of the Delta Institute. He's also a man of Lipovene descent.
We're surprised after 3-4 years the nature proved that it has a very huge capacity for recovering.
Have you got any idea how long it might take for it to come back to what it was?
I think the area already came back.
Really?
Yeah,
So quickly?
yeah, so quick.
This is the largest wetland reconstruction ever undertaken, and scientists are amazed by the results. Now they plan to reflood all the areas destroyed by Ceausescu. Radu Suciu has made it his life's work to undo such damage. To save the species that industrial development right through Europe have put at risk. He's beginning with the sturgeon.
Yeah.
He's still alive, right?
Yeah, very, very alive. So we will put from time to time a bit of water to keep it wet in order to release it. Yeah, it has these bony scutes which are very sharp. And it's very interesting the way it feeds. It has a sort of mouth, like a vacuum cleaner, you see?
As a species, how old are they?
Oh, they are very old. They are real living fossils. Close relative of this species in the age of dinosaurs. That means...
The age of the dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs,
It's that old, this fish?
Yeah, 200 million years ago. Yeah, before, yeah.
This will help keep it alive?
Yeah. See, it likes it very much.
I think we should let him go while he's still alive and still fit like this, before he gets too weak, don't you?
Yes, I would like also very much to do that.
Okay, let's let him go back to sea, back to the river.
Yeah.
Radu Suciu grew up in Ceausescu's Romania. He watched his people wither under totalitarian rule.
Țineți barca în partea cealaltă, ca să mă pot aplica aici. It's a very gentle position, just like a child learning it to swim. Yeah.
He saw his own father's life destroyed by communism and watched in dismay as madness spread across the land, ruining even the environment.
Yeah. No, stay.
It's almost ready to go.
Yeah. I almost lost it. It was difficult to take it, to keep it.
This is his way of trying to remake the world as it should be.
Oh, it just went. It decided to go deeper and deeper, and this is it. It is saved. We have it. Done. Good.